Naomi, hold on. You're running 7th, Gareth. Well done. I'm cold.
You've got leggings on.
I know, I'm still cold. Just on his cool down then. Just done Brass Monkey half. Got my t-shirt on. So this week I had quite a big week of training. Think I got to Tuesday and I'd done 35 mile in 2 days, which is obviously quite a big week of training. And then that were including a speed session as well. And the speed session, well, I say speed session, it were a hill session. Went up to the back of Lock Park on a hill that I've frequented many a time. I think it's a segment on Strava called GC's Hill Reps, and we did 12 times 60 seconds up and down the hill, which in the wind and rain that we had on Tuesday weren't pleasant in any slightest bit of the imagination, but enjoyed it nonetheless. I think I ran 11 mile Tuesday evening just within that, with that session included. So obviously that's quite a lot. Probably seen Naomi dropping off back of me on her cool down as well. Then Wednesday, more of the same, just 15 mile easy. Thursday, because I was racing this weekend, just kept it easy. And then Friday, ended up another run split. So 6 in the morning, 4 in the evening. Again, just easy. And then we drove through to Naomi's parents at Hornsey to come and spend the weekend over at Naomi's parents. And then Saturday morning woke up, went and did Hull Park run. And when I'm always at Hull, the temptation is there to always go fast because it is so flat. But tried to rein it back in a little bit. But did a couple of mile warm up, park run, and then ran 8 mile across Hull to meet one of Naomi's friends at Hessel. But I ended up finishing park run in 16 minutes and 50 seconds, I believe, which if you're a park run, like, what's the word, addict, 60 minutes and 50 seconds got me the completion challenge on the park run app of stopwatch bingo.
You said 60 minutes and 50 seconds, you meant 16.
Oh, 16 minutes and 50 seconds. Naomi's just corrected me, look. Hiya.
Hiya.
So I got the park run stopwatch bingo completion. It took me 403 park runs to get there, so there's hope for everyone. That's something that happens on every single run.
You fell over?
Yeah, with Naomi. So anyway, Saturday night, it were it's not a race preparation that I did have planned, but it were Naomi's triathlon
Awards Christmas party.
Awards Christmas party extraordinaire. So the Triathlon Christmas Party Awards night, it were in Hessel again, and it was basically pub to begin with.
Fancy pub.
At 7:30.
A cocktail pub, not
and
a
then went across to the a Greek.
Want to go that way to get
No, stay here. The Greek restaurant in Hessel, which is like, we like street food, but like a street food restaurant. And food was served up at 8 o'clock last night. Well, we sat down at 8, and then
Didn't eat till 9.
didn't eat till 9, half 9.
Left at about 10:30.
Left at about 10:30, and then drove back half an hour back up to Naomi's parents. So it was a late one, and Garmin says I had 6 hours sleep for the night, which for a man that likes his 8 hours and a girl that likes her 10, obviously it's not ideal race prep,
Worth it though.
but it don't happen every weekend. It's just something that you just got to deal with. Brass Monkey historically has always been a target race for me, but it would give or take this year. It is my PB course, so I ran 70:25 in 2020, and it chucked it down with rain. Weren't great in the slightest, but it's punched Naomi in the arm because she swings her elbows. So yeah, not the race prep I imagined, but with it being a flat course anyway, beginning a sort of marathon training, I know that I've got improvements further down the line to come. But woke up this morning, left like normal routine, normal breakfast, granola. Left the house around 7:45. It's about an hour's drive from Hornsey over to York Racecourse. Obviously made us land about 8:45ish. There were already traffic on the road outside the racecourse, which for the next half an hour it was just getting tailback and tailback. And then as soon as we landed, got a couple of miles straight out, went to the toilet, all that palaver. We then went back to the car, got his kit on, did a few stretches, got his shoes on, and then went to the race start. Naomi's just stopped for a quick stretch, but it looks right. Went to the race start, and the race is bang at York Racecourse. It is like a fast and flat field. As I often around on my warm-up, there's lads and lasses that you recognise, left, right and centre from the local scene. There's people that I've raced with for many years now, so you know realistically what sort of speed that they're going to run at, and what sort of times, and if they'll be around you. So stood talking to people, trying to make a gauge of who I'll be running with today, and just and getting a feel, a race feel of what's about to happen. And then anyway, so we stood on the start line. It's roughly 9:55. Stood bang next to Ben Butler and Danny Franks from Wakefield, and knowing that Ben, in 10k sort of pace, tonks me, but then I quite happily say, give us a marathon, I'd tonk him. But that's just biased towards a particular distance. But half marathon's probably the level playing field between us, so it'd be a good sort of marker to see where we're at. So in Brass Monkey, they walk you out into the main road, and looks to be a lot faster field than previous years, but it's all about that battle against yourself anyway, and just seeing where you end up. Quick like race briefing, like historical stuff about the race, and a few announcements. It feels a bit like a park run, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and we're off. So it is a relatively flat course, always a PB course if you're on it on the day. And then set off, got straight away into quite a strong group that were running relatively on pace for the first mile. Felt a bit conservative, if I'm being honest, and just ticking through like the blocks. And my watch, I always set it up like when I'm racing shorter, up to half marathon stuff, to split every 400 meters, because that's what I train, and I know that 75 seconds is 5-minute miles, 80 seconds is 5:20 pace, and every 5 seconds you can add 20 seconds a mile on. And I knew that for me to run a PB today, I had to split it in around 80 seconds. So for the first mile I didn't really look at my watch, and then every 400 I'd take a glance or so after that, and I was splitting them in like 81 seconds, which is like a second per 400, just way too slow from where I wanted to be. But could feel not a drastic headwind, but there were an headwind for the first bit, and I knew they were going to be. Last few days have been brutal when we've been out running anyway, but could feel this headwind, so I knew the first half were going to be slower. Got in a good group, looked probably about mile 3.5, 4, checked my shoulder and could see that there were quite a considerable gap opening up behind us. So I said to the lads in the group, try and work together so that we can stick together and we don't get dropped.
Well done, guys. Well done, folks.
Andy Pearson here, look. Great, pal. Yeah, she got annoyed. I don't know why. So, like, there were a gap opening up behind us, and if you end up behind, you end up in no man's land. And I knew the pace were too slow for anything near my PB pace. So I did kind of kick on at mile 4, and I were hoping that someone from the group had come with, and they kind of didn't. So instead of ending up in no man's land with people behind, I ended up in no man's land on my own in front instead, which I knew that the pace of the lads, the 3 that were in front, were probably bang on where I needed to be, but like I had to surge to catch them and didn't really want to be doing that into an headwind. But then, like, ticking over, looking at 10k, knowing I needed to clock the 10k marker in like 33 minutes, which I went through in like 33:30, and then for the halfway marker we're about 35:30, which for me to run sub 70 like I were aiming for, I would have had to run 34:30 for the last half, second half, which I think would have been a 10k PB and a 5k PB in recent years anyway. So yeah, it were do or bust, and today probably want a PB day, but ended up holding on anyway, paced it relatively well up until the 10 mile mark, where I kind of just backed off a little bit. I just dropped time and time, but still stuck with the lads that were around me. Didn't really get left behind. Crossed the line probably in about 1,000th place, 1:11:44, which I think is probably quickest half marathon. Don't quote me on that. Post COVID, so I'll take that on a day where of 6 hours kip. But yeah, feel good, cool down, probably about 104.5 miles for the week, so a big week, racing half marathon, not bad all in all. So yeah, I've just managed to catch up to Speedy Gonzalez. Oh, I'm not going to film a bum.
No, I said moody bum.
Oh, moody bum.
You never listen to me.
I'll not let Naomi take up too much time, but how'd you get on today?
PB, I'm real happy with it. I'm moody that Gareth said, let's go 2 mile cool down, and he's spoken to you the entire time and not spoken to me because I'm knackered. But I'm happy with my run. And I'm ready to go to bed.
What time did you get?
Oh, 1:26:03 on my watch, so I'm hoping I crept under. I've got 1:25 on a chip, but we'll see.
What chips were there? French oven? Curly?
Curly fries,
Fries.
crinkle cut,
Yeah.
with ketchup and mayonnaise, please.
If I were 1,000th position, what position were you?
2,500.
Alright. So, yeah, not a bad day at the office. For some reason, Naomi can't use the excuse of a late night and decides to PB, so puts all my excuse to rubbish. That I had a late night and only had 6 hours sleep. But, well. Another...
Period. Don't forget periods.
Oh, yeah, and she's apparently on a period. But...
Any excuse to be moody.
yeah, any excuse to be moody.
We're about to be overtaken.
I know, I'm running too slow. Other than that, another episode done. Another week done. Another 100-mile week. And just less than 100 days to go to London. See you next week.